I'll just start with questions. It's fine.
So, Coach, when you have a game like this with all of the hype going into it, what's the best way, in your experience, to weather the storm and make sure that the moment isn't too big for the team and the players?
Again, taking some factors here. You're playing one of the best teams in the country that's has a elite offensive team, especially in transition, and then they're one also defensively. They're in the top 10, so it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us. But we've got to continue to not only get ready to prepare for Kansas, but we have to make sure that we're doing the things in-house that's going to help us win. And that's taking care of the basketball, rebounding, getting back on defense, doing things that so we're not beating ourselves and we're not giving up those easy baskets, which you look at Kansas, they're one of the best in the country is finding ways to get those layups, and they do it in a lot of different ways. But so we've got to be ready for that, and then just play hard and try to match their intensity and hopefully have a great crowd.
Coach, going back to TCU, your young guys got a lot of playing minutes. How have they, I guess, really adjusted to that first Big 12 game and adjusting to that stage?
It's every game there's some adjustments, and for this team, we're going to be making some major adjustments because of as many new players and young players as we have. But I thought again we learned a lot about ourselves. I thought we grew up some coming back, talking about it, and how we've got to handle some adversity in the second half, some pressure situations, and understanding how important it is to get off to a great start the second half, and so it's just growing pains, and I think we're learning, and still a lot of teaching going on. But I think when you look back at that TCU game, I think what's encouraging is that we were able to really play well and dominated for 20 minutes, and then just kind of held on the second half, and then the last probably 5 or 6 minutes we just didn't execute and make the plays to win the game. But there's some encouraging things that happened, and again I thought we had some guys that got in and did really well, and again Bacho was about 50-60%, and even going into this game against Kansas, he's lost about 15 pounds, and he's not himself right now, and we're trying to get him some fluids and all, and this illness kind of took a toll on him, but I think he will play tomorrow. We're not sure how much.
And Lamar, too, he was giving you guys some valuable minutes at TCU. I guess from his experience playing, Division I basketball, what are you really looking for him as a leader to be more of that veteran presence that like KO brings and stuff? Yeah,
Lamar's first of all, he's a very coachable young man. He's got a personality that fits well with the chemistry of this team. He's unselfish. He's a pass first player. He's a big guard, which we need, and can guard several positions when we switch. And so we like him out on the floor. We think he's a great facilitator. And again, he's just I thought he did some really good things offensively. He's still learning on the defensive end, but we see some progress every game with him.
Coach, obviously TCU being a quick turnaround for you guys and that second half being a little rough, what can you emphasize in practice these couple of days to make sure that you can play against a complete game against a team that's one of the more complete teams in college?
One of the things we're talking about is we need to keep our poise, composure, and at the same time stay aggressive. And that's difficult to do at times, and because you want our guys to play with intensity, but also execute and play with some efficiency. And so trying to stay aggressive on the defensive end and on the offensive end, still push the ball, but make the easier plays, let the game come to you, and not try to force us as much as we did. We've just, again, got to figure out ways to cut down on those turnovers.
And then the elephant in the room, obviously, being Kevin McCullough coming back to Texas Tech. What have you seen in the short amount of time, how he's grown from between him being here in Kansas, and maybe what kind of reception do you think he'll be getting?
I certainly have a lot of respect and appreciation for Kevin McCullough, and he's a really good player, and he's gotten better. He's better this year than he was last year, and he's going to continue to grow. He's got great work habits. He's a tough physical player, and he was one of our best defensive players last year, and he's doing that for KU. But we've got our work cut out with a lot of other players, with Wilson and Grady Dick, and which are two of the best offensive players in the country, and with a really good point guard. So we got a handful of issues and challenges ahead of it. Kevin McCullough just been one of them.
Coach, it's an 18-round fight. You lose round one. What is the attitude of the guys coming into round two?
Yeah, we just get up off the canvas and keep swinging, Pete. And that's a great question. It's we've got to stay focused on just getting better, but also see the big picture. And that is, it is an 18-round fight, and we're gonna you're gonna win. Hopefully, most of them. You're gonna lose a few, and we just got to get back in and start swinging again. And you should look at the Big 12. Every team lost, I think, except Texas on the road, and so we just we got to protect our home court and try to find a way to get a win here, and then. And win these home games, and then find a way to win back on the road. But I tell you what, it does tell you that all these games are going to be tough, and everybody's got really good teams and good players, and everybody's playing well.
Well, Coach, you guys have won 29 straight at home. Obviously, you want to hold that serve. With the holidays, some people aren't going to be able to be here. What's your message to Red Raider Nation?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still going to pack it.
I hope so, Pete. We this young team really needs our fans to come out, and with the absence of our students being here, and we'll have to won't get them back for another week and a half, 2 weeks. We need a great walk-up crowd, and then we need our season ticket holders to make sure you're at this game and are really loud and encourage us, and especially with a team that's that it has some inconsistency. When you have a crowd behind you cheering you on, it certainly helps and gives them a lot of encouragement. And we're going to need that against Kansas.
Mark, can you kind of speak to what Kansas coach Bill Self has been able to do without a big this year, the typical big that he's normally had, and just the way that they've been able to really kind of work with a more up-tempo type offense?
Yeah, and we all know Coach Self's one of the best coaches in the country, and he's just able to take those, those pieces and move them around and get the best team he can. But at the same time, he's got one of the best freshmen that's coming in, Grady Dick, in the country. He shoots, and I think he's close 50% from three-point. And then you've got Jalen Wilson, who's could be the player of the year in the Big 12, certainly one of the best in the country, and he's got him playing with a lot of confidence. And then he's got some other good players, but yeah, they're not quite as big. But when you look at overall, they got some good still overall size, and the way they play, they're always attacking on offense. I mean, you just got to get back, but they move that ball as quick as anybody in the country, and they're great at getting those angles and finding ways to get to the easy baskets. That's a credit really to Coach Self. But yeah, he's got another really good team, and the record shows they've just lost one game, and they're ranked, I think, in the top 10 in defense, and I think 12 or 13 in the country on offense.
Going back to Jalen Wilson and Kevin a little bit, how much has their rebounding helped them kind of go on the offensive end? Because I know that's something you've been talking about to improve on yourself. So how important is rebounding going to be tomorrow night?
It'll be huge. It hurt us in that game against TCU's, but our Achilles heel for this year has been the rebounding and the turnovers, and we've been struggling with both those back and forth. So we got to find some consistency there. But that's something that Kansas does well, and Wilson and Kevin McCullough both are good at attacking the glass, and then they do a great job of team rebounding on the defensive end.
I know there was a report earlier today about Texas Tech and St. John's having a home and home. I don't know if you can say anything about that.
You may know about as much as I do. That's just kind of rumors out there. We haven't got anything solidified. Anything else? All right. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Appreciate it. Pete, good to have you here.